Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the Spiritual Ranch. I am Shesh Not No Way, the Off-Grid Oracle, and this is the little guy. The little guy. No, it's not that hand. Wrong hand, dude. We're gonna give the little guy a treat. Hey, little guy. Look how buff you are, man. So everybody say, hey, little guy, look over here. Look, say hi, say hi, say hi, say hey. Here you go. Okay. Out, out. No, you got your treat, man. You're good. No, we did our thing. Okay. Back, 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 back. Boundaries, little guy. Boundaries, little guy. Boundaries. That's what we got to respect around here, man. Boundaries. Don't walk all over them. Anyhow, welcome to our channel here. I'm going to, I don't know, I was going to share a story with you guys. You know, it coincides with the kind of like the theme, you know, of what the next couple messages are going to be, you know. And so this is like current time. I'm going to go ahead and just upload this ASAP because it's today, which is like today is it's the middle of December, you know, in some time frame or another. Man, and this cut the energy right there, bam. You know, it's been in the ethers a lot right now. And so, like, yeah, I'm gonna share a story. I'm gonna have my cards. Maybe I'll just look at some cards here and there throughout the read. But basically, I'm gonna share a story because there's a lot that's going on right now for us, with us, the chosen ones, regarding karma and our karmic experiences. You know, and like kind of in order for us to have the new beginnings that we're poised to receive right now, because we're definitely poised to receive some new beginnings. We really have had to process through a lot of energies and lifestyles, like ways of being that we were in the past that have been hard but beneficial, you know. So it's like they've been experiences that we've had to have in order to become the best version of ourselves. But with that, those lessons have come some it's been a little tough, you know. And so it's like yeah, we're going through, we've been sorting through, energetically speaking, in the material and in the ethereal right now. We've been sorting through eons of baggage that we've carried, and it's reflected itself also in like repetitive cycles in our lives, in our current transit right now, and things that we've been doing like repetitively, and even not by, oftentimes, you know, it's just by the force of destiny, by like the force of the destiny, you know, like that we haven't had always control over it, you know. But it's like we've kind of been shuffling, you know, in a lot of ways. Like for me, it's manifested in ways like that, where there's been very little permanence, you know, and a lot of kind of like you know, the best way I describe it, you know, for myself, energetically speaking, is like a lifestyle that is kind of like you know, a little bit like pirate-esque, you know. It's like got some piracy involved in it, but like in a way that's more of like a salvage operation, you know. And so you know, so it's like kind of dumpster diving in a lot of ways, and it's illegal, you know, to be a dumpster diver, I guess. So it's like still kind of piracy, and I've made it work well for me, and I've learned a lot in that lifestyle, you know. But that is kind of like, you know, it's a hard way to roll, you know. Sometimes people don't understand how that works. It's reservation rules is what they call that, you know, in the indigenous communities. And I agree a lot with reservation rules. Like, you know, something shouldn't go to waste if it's not being used, you know. And so, but that's a fine line, you know. And so, again, that's the thing, because like I shared the story here, the experience I had with the chainsaw, which is a very nice tool, a very good tool, a high quality tool. But I didn't earn it, you know, in a way, in a ways that were totally legit, you know, that were clean. It came with karmic debt, you know, and so I lost it in a way. That is how karmic debt gets cleared, you know. And so that's the same story that I'm going to share here today with you guys, because I've been talking about, like, here, if you watch my other videos, and if you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. I'm Shesh Not No Way, the Off-Grid Oracle. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, right? You can contact me if you want my contact information. It's in my description box. Go ahead, shoot me an email or whatever. Make a comment, and I'll respond. But if you watch some of my past videos, I talk a lot. I've mentioned a couple times about how I had a barn, you know, a whole barn out here in a pile that I was going to rebuild because I salvaged it, you know. I talked about how I salvaged it, right? And I did, like, definitely, you know, I salvaged it. But the thing is that this was over in Reading. Like I found it on Facebook, and when I met the person, I mean, immediately like the conversations, the dialogue that was I was having with the individuals was a little bit sketchy, and so like being a high priestess, because I talk about that energy here in the last read that I posted here, with that high priestess energy, it's like we know, it's like we always know, we know what the fuck's up, like we pay attention, and so it's like I walked into that situation being told one thing, but knowing in my gut that there was something underlying, there's a bigger issue with the circumstances, like the deal was too good to be true, and on top of that, like I was at that time, I had some I had my own cookie jar basically, and so I was trying to trade cookies for this material. I ended up, because like the people were they had to have it, and so it's like, it was one of those deals. It wasn't clean either way, right? So initially, because like I was trading cookies for a barn that I was going to dismantle, and then had to haul back out here to the spiritual ranch, and I was going to rebuild it, And so that right there made it a pretty unclean deal, but I justified it already, which is better, which is not following my own advice as a high priestess, And so that's to have an ability to know, to avoid karmic situations, but choosing otherwise, He's like going, well, yeah, but I can still work this deal, And so I did. And it's anyhow, so I made the arrangements and everything. And then I went over there to get the barn, to dismantle it and everything. And I was with my divine counterpart, at the time we were in union. And, she's not as far into the shadows as, I was raised in the shadows. I come off the streets, I've been out there rough and tough forever, man. Fucking, if it wasn't for the valley of shadow and death, I never would have had a home, And so I'm very familiar with what's going on in most environments, and I know how to move, and really I know how to keep myself safe, and how to protect myself. And and so we got in there, and like, nothing happened for her, but it was a traumatizing experience for her, because some shit got real, it got pretty crazy, because they were all, using needles and stuff, and like getting kind of pretty out there. And then they were having their own infighting, turning into some infighting about the structure and about how she, like the deal, and it's just got all ugly, crazy. Guys kind of coming after me with an axe at one point, and I was about ready to stab him. And like, so baby girl was like, damn, what the hell, And so that was like pretty traumatizing on our relationship. We ended up being there for 10 days trying to tear down this barn. It's just her and I, and she's not familiar with doing work like that and everything. So it went horribly, basically. And so like, I ended up finding out, though, like throughout this process, because eventually like these people were breaking each other's windshields out, and like cops were coming, and like it was all like kind of chaos. And I ended up finding out that the people who I was dealing with were actually squatters on the property. They weren't even supposed to be there. It wasn't their property. It wasn't their property at all, And it's like I had a whole range of deals that I was going to be getting, this roofing and a bunch of fencing and all kinds of stuff, and I didn't know that, like I just got hooked up with these people on Facebook, And so that deal, which was already like, because I'm trading cookies and everything, it was kind of one of them deals that got real sideways real quick. And I was like, oh shit. And then they're like, I had the barn torn down, and like my trailer, my big pickup, my big F-350 or whatever, in my trailer, big 16-foot trailer. And so like I just bought that trailer, and I hadn't really ran it, the guy said he hauled equipment with it, so I had set solid, And so I was like, well shit, man, they're like, the cops are coming, and all this bullshit. It's like getting real dramatic, and I already almost stabbed this guy, like, seriously, it was ready, it was going down, but he backed off, he knew better, And so like I got my trailer. I was like, well, shit, man, I got to load everything up. I had like 3/4 of the barn tore down. I was like, well, fuck it, I want to get everything I can while I can, because I sure as hell can't come back. I was like, this is a bad deal, And at that point, being high priestess, I should have just loaded up baby girl and says, hey, you all, good luck, peace out. And but instead, I was stubborn about it. I kept pushing it, because I wanted to get that deal. I was gonna get that deal, And I loaded the trailer up, get pulled out of there, and I go to the truck stop to get some fuel, fill the thing up, and then I go pulling out of the truck stop, and bam, the fucking wheel pops right off that trailer, It had, it's got dualies, so it's got more than 4 wheels on it, but yeah, it's like wheel, bam, like back there, the wheels are boom flying around. I'm like, oh shit, you know. And so I already had been there for like 10 days, you know. And then I had to spend the next 4 days at the truck stop there, welding my axle back together. You know, I had to like go through a bunch of rigmarole, get that all figured out, and got it all welded up, you know. And then like on the way back, you know, like the tires were rubbing, and so I had to stop, and I was like effing with that. And this couple, so I finally got the wheel welded back on, you know, at the truck stop, and I take off way out in the middle of the mountains because I live way out in the middle of nowhere, you know, bumfuck. And so I'm out in the back road, you know, and I was effing with the tires there, and this couple, here comes this big like truck, you know, it's like box truck, you know, like company truck. And it comes flying in there, and they stop, but they're turning out ahead of us. I'm like, what the hell? And they come backing up, you know. And there's this couple jumps out, this man, this woman, you know, and they're just spun out, just through the gills, you know. I mean, just really spun out. And they apparently had just like robbed the guy that he worked for and like stole the truck full of tools. You know, so he stole the work truck or whatever. And like says the cops are after him, they need diesel, you know. And so he's like, trade you some diesel for or trade me some diesel, and you know you can have some tools, go up there and shop in the fucking box truck, you know. And so I'm like, what the hell, you know? And like as if bad wasn't bad enough, you know. And like so I traded him, you know, gave him a little diesel, and they took off. And then anyway, so I finally limped home. You know, it took me about two and a half weeks, about 2 weeks, a little more than 2 weeks, I think, to go get that barn and get it dismantled, get it back home. And at that point, there's so much negativity and so much karma attached to that barn. I mean, you know, my whole life was like falling apart, and I kind of piled it up best I could. Chose the worst spot, happened to choose a low spot that had a spring in it, you know, and so the material got all soaking wet and rotted, you know. So it's like it's been there for 3-4 years, and it rotted fast. But it's like, yeah, I was in a dumb spot. But it's because it's like instant fucking karma, man. It's karma, you know. It's like this is the kind of shit where we might be looking back, you know. It's like I'm sharing this story because I think like a lot of us are coming into a cycle with the chosen ones. Well, I know for a fact, I mean, we're chosen, right? And so it's like us chosen ones are coming into this cycle where we've been stuck in a lot of action, a lot of shit like that, you know? It's like we've had one thing after another kind of go down that way. And we've always known that it was going down that way. And so it's like we're really having to, and we've had to crawl out from underneath that pile many, many times. Because that's like with me, you know? This ain't kind of the first time that I've made dumb mistakes like that. That was like a big one, a big lesson, because it was like a good, you know, I scored, like it could have been like, wow, yeah, I really came up. But again, it's like God doesn't want me to come up like that as a pirate, because I can't stand on that and lead with that. You know, it's like if I got a stolen barn that I traded cookies for, right? If you follow me, you know, it's like, how can I really stand confidently as the OGO who's trying to spread a message of worth and of value, you know? It's like, even though I understand, it's like I took that route, and I've taken that route, and I don't judge for that route. Like, I understand why and how, and I know how to move in that route. And like, that may be useful tools in the future for all of us right now, because yeah, we might have to go a little pirate on the system, you know? But the thing is that wasn't like a victimless crime, you know? It's like, that's what we got to be very aware of right now, because we're coming into a time where we have to be naturally selecting. In the sense, we got to use our high priestess energies for the betterment of the whole and for the goodness of the whole, or else we're not going to gain nothing. Everything that we build will be just rotten again. It'll just be turned into a pile of rot, because it's not going to be accepted, you know? And it's like, we know better. And so now we know better, and we know how to move, but we have to also recognize what it is, you know, who the enemy is right now, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Instead of like praying within, you know. It's like with that situation there, I should have, you know, I wouldn't be in that situation now. I wouldn't put myself in that situation at all. I know what spirits and what energies are attached in that environment, you know. But I also know what I was there to learn from those spirits and from those energies, you know. And so like right now, they've served their purpose, and so it's time for them to go. And the way that we let them go is that we have to shed that shit and just say, hey, I'll never make that mistake again, you know. I'm not going to be that fool ever again that I was in that moment, you know, when I was making those bad decisions. Because situations like that, I mean, they can cost you everything, you know. I mean, baby girl could have got hurt, you know, like I could have got hurt, I could have got shot. It was very dangerous, you know. We could have got arrested. I mean, who knows what kind of crime that would have been if somebody wanted to really get nasty and press charges. I mean, dismantled their fucking barn, you know. I mean, you know, it's like one of them deals. I was lied to and everything, but that don't make no difference when you're rolling with thieves. You know, when you're rolling with the crew of thieves like that, you're gonna get the same criminal that they, you know, crime that they get. You know, and that's the truth, and that's the thing. And so it's like there was no positive recourse, no positive consequences for me out of that. You know, very little. And now I have to, you know, I've had to face that. You know, it's like right now we're facing that, but on a pretty low scale. And so it's like we have to be facing that and then really look back onto those situations with gratitude, because it's like we're still here, we're still in the game, and we're going to be even better at playing the game now that we know how to move, and we can also be accountable for our actions, you know, and see the lessons that we're here to gain in them, and get off from that pity party, because that's what I'm talking about a lot, you know. And so yeah, I just want to share that because, you know, that's just what we're working on around here, out here on Spiritual Ranch, right? And so now I'm trying to salvage it. It's some old cedar, you know, it's like some nice cedar, but really, like I've learned too here, the cedar is kind of fancy, but it doesn't like this wet weather, because yeah, it has holes in it. It's like kind of decorative, and it's like old bug eaten, you know. So those are bug logs, right? But they got a lot of dry rot in them already, and I didn't really think about that in advance too when I moved it. I put it in that spot because that dry rot out here, man, it just grows like crazy. It gets a little water on it and goes like crazy. But where I salvaged the barn from, it's a lot more arid. It's very dry over there, you know. And so, of course, it probably wouldn't have even been very good, you know, material anyhow. But like you can see here, see, just blam, rotten, you know. But it's one of them things. It's like I'm not losing, I'm winning, because I'm really learning how to become the best version of myself through these mistakes, you know, and through these learning experiences. And we're coming into through these cycles fast right now. Let me see, I had to burn a bunch of that other siding too. But I still got stuff to work with, you know, which at this point I feel, I guess I paid my dues. I mean, I hope, you know, I'm trying to learn, you know, and so we're trying to learn this together. But it's important right now to really take note of these things that I'm talking about here in our lives, you know. And so it's like really take note of why things didn't work, because that's very important moving forward now as we go to make things work, you know. Because I think with us, a lot of us who have been really in that bosom of Saturn, right? We got Love Daddy. We're really starting to, you know, it's like we've had to carry a lot of loss. We were not lost, but just a lot of those harsh lessons, you know. We've been through a lot of, we've been willing to take a lot of risks, you know, because like with that, that barn, that was a gamble, you know. So it's a little bit of a gambler's move right there, trying to see, you know, you're always trying to, but that's what Spirit's trying to say, is that God's telling us, you know, we don't got to gamble like that no more. It's done, like right now. You know, and a lot of that too, like I've talked about, is like an old way that we've kind of had to move, because the world hasn't been really prepared to live. You know, like the world doesn't understand material value the way that we do as well. You know, so it's like we've always been kind of trying to do a more you know, it's like an alternative way of consuming. So it's like with the barn, you know, like initially, the reason that I got onto the barn, hey, little guy, that's enough. I gave you a treat. Go lay down. I got on the barn was because I was trying to do a responsible building, you know, like I need a structure here eventually when I get animals or I get pigs or for whatever reason, I'm going to need a structure here. And so my intent, you know, Spirit has got me going in the right direction. It's just that, you know, like they've had us in other situations where we've been learning, because it's like the world doesn't value that stuff so much right now. But now it's going to become, we're coming into a time where it's not going to be like piracy or anything. It's going to be truly salvaging, because, you know, as we fall deeper into financial despair, that's what it's going to come simply down to. I mean, we're going to have to get really good at reduce, reuse, recycle, you know, things that like people have been kind of hoarding, because there's a lot of like hoarding and waste in our country, and people still have like ownership even on trash and on a lot of things that they're not even using, because it's like kind of like that piece of property where I got the barn. That piece of property, it wasn't being, I mean, I guess I don't know the history of it, but nobody was really there living in it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have gotten squatted on, and nobody was really running those squatters. It wasn't being even managed, but with any kind of care, or concern. But yet at the same time, if the police showed up and you're like taking down the barn, because like the squatters told me the barn, like I'd still be the thief, and that's what's changing in our world now. Is that kind of structure, because that's a real backwards way of thinking. That has become systematic in our system, and so it's not just a spiritual war. I mean, this is like politics too, this is the mammon system, the system of mammon, that forces us into situations kind of like that. We start to make moves like that because we're not thinking really smart, and we're not really using what we have available that's been provided for us by God, because we feel limited, because it's like I'm trying to figure out how to do shit cheap too, and so I go to certain directions with it that are that are like kind of, I mean, we're all becoming dumpster divers in a lot of ways, because we just lost all of our old school ways of doing business and learning how to provide right here from the land that's beneath my feet, and so we're not even thinking in ways that like really are logical, and so it's like we've had to really kind of break this shit down in our heads just to make sense out of our life because of the way we've moved. I mean, I don't know, maybe you understand, if you do, you're chosen one, because you're on a whole different path than everybody else is right now. So we're really going to learn how to manifest out of nothing. Damn, yeah. Okay. Boom. Man, if there's going to be one card, guys, yeah, we're Earth Angels, okay? And so we're trying to learn how to go back to a way where we don't have to get caught in these traps like this, these karmic loopholes, man, these karmic holes, like these karmic fucking loops, it's where it's like, fuck, dude, there's no way to win, right? It's like, you're always like, damn, man, another fucking lesson, and it's like, yeah, damn, man, another lesson, but we've learned our lessons, and now it's time to kind of put that all to work, and it's going to manifest. It's going to come in for us, we're going to alchemize. It's like with that pile of lumber that was rotten there. Well, what's going to happen now is that I've learned that lesson. And so the same way, like with the chainsaw, because like I shared with the chainsaw, like I lost that chainsaw, that 461, that was a nice saw, right? Very nice saw. But the saw that I got replaced with, that Steve replaced it with, it is just as good. It's going to take a little tinkering. I got to put some OEM parts on there and shit, because like the pull string, it has a little bit of that. Like it needs a Walbro carburetor. It needs a good pull string on it. Steel OEM fucking recoil. And then that's a damn good saw, and an oiler. They say you want to put on a steel oiler on there, a bar and chain, steel bar and chain, and it's pretty much a steel. It's a good saw. It's a bigger saw. It's a better saw. Honestly, it'll run that big bar better than my other saw does. It kind of bogs down. You can hear it the short I did. And so in the long run, I learned that lesson, and it came, and they brought it back in, and it's something that's going to really serve the purpose for me, and it's cleansed of that karmic debt, And so now I'm going through these piles, and I'm seeing like, okay, well, yeah, man, everything got like really fucking cast in shadow. And so, but now that you're bringing it back into the light here, and you're seeing it for what it is, you're going to transmute that energy into something that's going to be even better, and that's what's happening for us right now. We're really, the more that we are willing to see these lessons, it's like with karma, with Saturn. If we resist Saturn, Saturn is a heavy hitter. They got a lot to push back at us with, they do. And so it's like, but right now, if we're willing to really roll with it and not see it as like discipline, but as a lesson, it's like now we're seeing karma as like, no, man, I'm really glad that I learned that, that's like made me a really much better at being who and what I am, which is an earth angel on my path, because I have been called. Our names have been called. We have been called. And so when I say I, I'm speaking of you. And so when I say you, I'm speaking of I, because we're in this shit together. We're earth angels. And so fucking awesome. And that's excellent. And so yeah, man, dude. Yeah, yeah, man. Real fortunate. But the thing is like with us, see, we've learned how to how to move the water. Water when we handle it, it doesn't just flow one way. It flows uphill too, And so that's us in the center of that wheel right there, that karmic wheel, lubricating that motherfucker right now, And so we're in the center of that wheel, and so everything, all that time that we spent on log ride trying to stay up on top of that log, like that one video of that log's flowing down the hill, fucking whoosh, on fire. You gotta know how to step when when you're on top of that, and that's the fucking world that we've been in, That's the world that I was in, thinking I had to stab that motherfucker, and thinking that he was gonna chop me up with an axe and everything, having to worry about baby girl and everything, and my dog almost got eaten by this great big pit bull. Got attacked by a pit bull, and this one dude that was there squatting there too, he like grabbed his pit bull and like shoved his thumb up his dog's ass. The dog's all, whoa, let go. Little guy fucking went running off, like little guy's like, oh shit, so I just tried to hang, And it's like, so that's log ride, right? That's trying to stay on top of that karmic wheel. Fucking, whoa, we're done with that shit. We've ascended. And so when we've ascended, we've opened our third eye, stepped right into that motherfucker, and became a whole ass motherfucker who has control now over their own destiny, because we're earth angels, Boom, it's like what it is, dude. But Five of Swords or Five of Coins, and I love the Five of Coins card. I do. I love that card. I don't give a fuck if it's cold outside the walls of that church, because that ain't my home, and that's what we're learning. A lot of motherfuckers that want to get in there and pray on Sunday, and try to act like they're something when they're pulling a lot of really shitty stuff, out here, and they and then they just go back right at it Monday, and that's the cycle that we're not in no more. We're not going to play that game at all anymore. We've wisened up, we've learned from our lessons, and Nine of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, and so that's good. We're, like I'm saying, what we're going to manifest, it's going to be that dream that we've had, like we're manifesting into that dream. Like with this shedding that I'm doing right now, it's really getting me in a position where, hey man, my guard's going to look great next year. It is. It's going to be beautiful. And I'm going to share that with you guys, because a lot's happening for the OGO right now behind the scenes. There's a lot going on, a lot, big time. That is very, it's very exciting. And so it's like I really am looking forward to that coming into fruition, and then really showing you, like how this thing's gonna unfold, how it's gonna spread, how it's gonna grow, how it's gonna be enough for everybody to have that same experience. So it's like right now, it's like the individuals that you're working with, that you're going to be around, also are going to confidently stand in their own as a Nine of Pentacles. They're going to be like, yeah, fuck, I'm fucking the hot shit, hot shit, hot shit, hot shit. And then you're all going to be working with each other in that energy, and a lot's going to get done. It's going to be really beautiful, and it's going to manifest in a way that's not going to be threatening to anybody and their independence. It's going to manifest in a way that's going to give everybody a lot of confidence. Nobody's going to have to protect themselves or have to worry about being taken from. They're going to be seen for who and what they are, and the value that they stand in, as they give that same reverence to those who are around them, And so it's going to be equal give and take and all that shit, But it's going to be very prosperous for us. We're going to be very happy about what it is that we build now, because we've really learned how to hunt on our own, and we've really learned how to receive our manifestations and not force them. And even like now we're like seeing, well, I forced that manifestation, and so it only lasted me a short period of time. And so as we manifest now, we're going to manifest for the long term, because what's next, that's 10 of Pentacles, and that's a lasting legacy. Okay, that's forever and ever, right? And so it's not just going to rot in a heap. That's the 10. That's the 10 of Pentacles. That's the, it's going to be some celebration right now. We're stepping into that period where, like a 9 of Pentacles, that's these ones going out to fight that last battle together. Like it. We've won some and we've lost some. Some might say we've lost many, but the ones we've won, they're big ones, and they matter most. And so it's like, yeah, we could lose the saw, yeah, we could lose the lumber, but we ain't gonna lose what matters most. And when we come together in that celebration and fight together, the whole world's gonna go, damn, look at them motherfuckers, Little ragtag crew out there, like fucking, who thought them misfits would ever fucking accomplish anything? And it's like, well, we did, and God did, and that's what we celebrate always about. And so yeah, it's fucking go time. That's what we're celebrating, because we know that we have it in us. We have what it takes to actually win this war now. Spiritual warfare, baby. And it ain't nothing but a fucking Sunday picnic for us, But all these other motherfuckers that are scared of that word spirit, they're like, woo, it'd be like something that goes, bump in the night, or like something I seen on TV. It ain't nothing like you seen on TV, motherfucker. Yeah. Better be scared about what you find inside yourself, children, because that's what we're going to tell them now as the chosen ones, because we've already looked deep inside those rooms that we have inside of our house, and we've been willing to open every motherfucking door, and we've talked about that shit, and we're going to let them out to play now. Bam. You know? Bam, 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 bam. Just very good. I didn't intend for this to go this long at all. I didn't mean for this to go that long. But hey, with the cards we're getting, you know, we'll take safe passage with celebration. That's 6-6. Where's the other 6, you know? 6-6-9. We can turn that 9 upside down. We just call it 6-6-6 all day long. If we want to. And so that's what's going on out here at the Spiritual Ranch. You know, I told you all I'd be working on some stuff out here that was going to be carrying more of those oh man, that's what it is, of those energies, right? And so bam, you guys, our karma that we're going through right now is really teaching us how to fully love ourselves, and it's bringing us into divine union, straight up, and it's destiny, and it's, I mean, straight up, you guys, like, yeah, damn. Yeah, enjoy the ride, man. It's good. This is good. Like, this is great. You know, keep cleaning. Getting your space ready. You know, be really, like I said in that last read I did, fully habitate your material being right now. All rooms. You know, go in there. Just all rooms. Okay, it's all yours. You know, it is all yours, and you love every aspect about it. You know, and so now everything that's outside of you is going to be fully recognized by the divine one, and it's going to be fully like really supported, you know. It's like going to be seen, but what's like inside of you now, because you're going to be this divine, you're becoming very whole inside of yourself now, okay? And so that's going to be what the whole world sees now, because the high one, you know, the most high, is saying, damn, you know, they're like, look at my fucking child right now, you know. And so everything that that you've seen like outside of you in your material world, that's manifested through you. And so it's like your manifestations that you've had to watch rot, you know, like I'm going through that pile of lumber right now, and I feel stupid. I feel, you know, there's all those emotions that come along with each and every one of them rotten boards, you know, because there's all those other crazy emotions and energies and spirits that were attached to it as I dismantled the barn, right? This is karma that we're talking about. It's like, but right now, that's what Spirit's saying is like, yeah, but see, as you burn all of that now, like you're placing, that's the last time that you're going to see that because you're now complete inside yourself, you know, you're whole. And so it's like the stuff that we're going through, this is a Queen of Cups in the upright position, because that means that we really can love ourselves. Like, we really got the lesson here, you know? And so it's like, yeah, put a smile on your face, feel confident, you know, now that, like, you know, it's like, well, the only reason I did those things was because I thought I had to, you know, and now I know that I didn't have to, you know, because I didn't get any gain from it, other than the experience that I had doing that, you know. And so 3-3-3-3 on the timer. And so we're seeing that, like, okay, then we don't have to move stupid, you know. So it's like, duh, I'm still gonna be fine. Like, even though I had to like pile it all up and burn it, or like I lost that saw in the fire, I'm always gonna receive what it is that Spirit that they know I need, you know. And so we have that trust inside of ourselves. Like, we really gained that relationship with the Most High and let them lead, guide, and direct us now in a way that's led us back to ourselves. And so now when Spirit unveils us and puts us out there, they're going to answer, they're going to provide, you know. It's like it's like not even going to be a matter of us having to worry about it, you know. It's like they'll know before we think about it ourselves, or before we even see. They're already going to have that solution offered for us now, because we've really mastered that wheel. We're at the center of the wheel right now, through our ability to love ourselves through so much hardship, you know. And so really fucking good job, man. Really, 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 really good job. And they're celebrating, and they're really celebrating you guys. You know, they are right now, big time. I mean, they fucking celebrating us. They love us, you know. And I know that. Trust me. I'll tell you straight up. I'll say, hey, you know, always trust God first, but you can trust the OGO. I mean, just me out here. God's pounded it into my head, and they love us. They love you. And these are great cards. God, man, and it's like been the same cards too. You know, it's been the same. Damn, it's been the same fucking cards. You know, it really has been. That sun card, and the Queen of Swords. You know, and so like, good work. You know, um, it's like I keep saying on the channel. Most people are not able to see those things that if you're, especially you're 35 minutes deep into this video right now, you know, going 36, right, 35555 or whatever, you go deep, you know. And so you can look at a rotten pile of wood and think about all of that shit that I just talked about, and see that lesson in it in your own life. And so it may not be a rotten pile of wood, it's just whatever it is, but you always see the clarity and you always see the truth. And in that, now that's going to be your biggest sword. That's your weapon. And that's why I keep saying here, because like you're going to know safe passage, because you know everybody else is fucking delusional right now. They really are. You know, they wouldn't even see the value in that old barn that I went to dismantle in the first place. They would just tear it down with the backhoe and throw it away. But we know better. We illuminate the truth. We are the truth illuminated. We are the morning stars, and we are the bringers of light. Okay. No, no way. I'm the Awkward Oracle. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit me the comment. You know, hit me with an email, and then hype the video. I guess we talked about that. I talked about that. I don't even know how it all works. You know, I don't even really give a fuck anymore. I appreciate the space to make the few friends that I've made here, and to have my own therapy. I don't want to talk to a doctor, no. Fuck no. PhD, man, that's piled higher and deeper. You know, they come out here and pile higher and deeper all the fucking manure they want in my fucking garden, but they're not welcome in my headspace. You know, peace out, you guys. Love you.